Hello and welcome to another episode of Make Love Real. I'm Mia Saenz, and in this episode with me, I'm introducing you to, first I'm going to say her name, then I'm going to tell you about her, Angela Gower-Johnson. I love this woman so much. She's been a very long-time friend, long-time colleague. She's the most powerful magic maker that there is, and I'm really excited to introduce you to my dearest sister friend, Angela. Welcome, honey.
Thank you.
It's exciting to have you here. We haven't had a show in about 2 years, so I'm excited that you're on my first one out. So will you share with the audience about, well, it could take a long time telling them about your awesomeness, but you are so amazing. You're so amazing with energy. And I'd like the audience, because it fascinated me when I first heard it, will you share with us your story on how you got to be so magical? Because you are. And you're like, and you're stumped. You're like, geez, how do I go from there?
Well, I feel like my real journey started when I turned 30, which is now 20 years ago, believe it or not. What I did was I knew that I needed something bigger and some new training, because I was practicing an active form of Buddhism, Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. That's where you chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. And what I was finding was I was able to hear people's inner thoughts, like their spirits were communicating with me, and sometimes even giving me messages for the people. And I needed support, and it wasn't really something that I was getting from that community. So I decided to throw myself into the energy work that I did know. There's two things I did. I chanted for 3 hours a day, and I did a form of trance dance. Not that I knew about trance dancing at the time, but it in effect it was a way for me to connect to spirit and get information. Doing this for 9 months led me to taking a journey to Lake Tahoe. And I took the journey there because I knew that's where my teacher or teachers were going to be. And I knew that they were going to be Native American, but that was all that I received. That and the destination, which was Lake Tahoe. So I got on a plane and went there, leaving everything behind: 2 children under the age of 3, a husband, a best friend, and a business that I was doing with her. In taking this journey, it meant that my husband uncategorically thought I was crazy. My best friend was no longer my best friend, and she fired me. So I went on it anyway, and I ended up meeting a group of people that a lot of which were Native medicine people that were trained in reservations to be medicine men. And the training was to learn how to read energy and how to do ceremony, not only the Native American way, but the Native way, because the main teacher had gone to every single Native tribe that he could around the world and exchanged information to try to get how to actually read energy, work with energy, and to heal. And that was what my training was about for 10 years, until I was given my wings, so to speak, and my journey was then to be a personal one with Creator. And that's where I need to get my confirmation and information for myself. And it was amazing and intense and magical, and that's really my beginning.
That's beautiful. And, you know, I've heard this before, and there's things that I want to say, and tell us about this and tell us about that, but we don't have that much, you know, that much time. And I want to share with everybody about your topic, manifesting love, because you are love, completely and fully. And I do want to point out that for those who are thinking, well, gosh, she spent 10 years away from her family. No, she didn't. She went, she found her people, she was in a program, then or a processing teaching, then she'd go home and back and forth, just so that they're like, well, how does that work when you leave your family? Her family worked out just great. So yeah, that's the part I wanted to bring out. So share with us about, so you have a lot of deep rituals. We've been close for many, many years, and you're always my right hand and sometimes my left hand. And I'm getting weepy here because I cherish you and I love you so much, as you know. Share with us about manifesting love, because it is really deep and it is really rich, and it does begin with the individual. It's not out there, everyone. It is in here. And so share with us.
All right. Well, first of all, I absolutely love and adore you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Thank you.
So there's a few things. One is, it's really important that you can find a way to feel good within yourself, because being able to find love and have a loving relationship of any kind, I think first and foremost, you have to be as barrier free as possible. Now, we all experience things and we get hurt, and sometimes we just wrap ourselves up in barriers. And I think the first thing is to start bringing those down a bit as you feel comfortable and confident with yourself and life. Mindset is so important with this. It's really important for you to start from a foundation of knowing that there is love for you out there, and that you are capable of love, and that you're capable of being loved. I remember a really powerful thing I did from Louise Hay, which was to just look in the mirror and say, I love you. That is just so powerful to do that.
Process.
Pardon?
Sorry, I had to laugh because I'm like, that's a Mia Saenz process too.
All right, well, that is so powerful. And I remember years ago when I did it, it was just so difficult. This was pre-Native American Indian journey, because I've been following a spiritual path since I was at least 18, if not before. But, you know, actively on my own searching and studying and training has been since I was 18. So that's really important. I also highly, highly recommend gratitude journaling, especially if you are looking for love outside of yourself. Gratitude journaling is the be all and end all. I teach it to my clients for everything, but for building a relationship and having love, it's absolutely essential.
It is. Just run the show, okay? Because you're just perfect. It's crazy because this is why we're so close. We both, well, and it would reflect upon each other. We both share a lot of information. I just love this. I'm like, I love that. I love that. I love that. You're just awesome.
Thank you.
So it is about reaching in and about pulling out the gratitude within our body. And that's also how we're manifesting with intention. I just have to share an experience that I think you'd like me to share this. So Ange and I, and other people don't necessarily call her that, but I do because she's my sis. So we have spent many years, like in my morning, because she's in England, talking while we exercise or walk or manifest, create, focus, intention. And that's one thing that I want to bring up, that she was talking about how important it is to do the focus work in, but have curiosity, have love for it, have excitement, because that's where the manifesting comes in with that. It's not the negative attitude, it's the excitement about it. Talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. With all of my clients that I teach the gratitude journaling, I have them go to bed thinking of 3 things they can be grateful for in life in general or in a certain aspect of their life. Because, oftentimes we can have one area of our life that's a little bit weaker. It's like our troubled area. And then first thing in the morning, have 3 gratitudes, things that, 3 things that you can pick from either the day before or that week or your whole lifetime that you can be grateful for. There is something incredibly and hugely powerful about being grateful. And it's about choosing a snippet of a story and a snippet of an event. And I think when you haven't been trained to have a really positive mindset, that might not come as easily to you. But what you want to do is you want to just take one thing that made you feel good, even if right after that thing, something bad happened. So it's just really important that you can just have like an internal mind editing system where you can go in and cut out a really good feeling and a really good event that happened, and then leave the start and the finish, all the stuff that you don't really need to focus on, to just fall to the wayside. Allow those clippings to go and get burnt or something, and just hold that pristine like moment of feeling good.
Now, also, I want people to be aware, because this is a love show. It's also about, so relationships are everything. It's not just about a man and a woman. It's our relationship with ourselves, especially our business, our home, our bodies, even what we eat, how we walk, how we dance, how we focus in. So Angela is really powerful and strong for any of you business owners who want more love and more magic in your life, about your business, about your life too, but about your business. There is no one stronger energetically that I've come across than Angela. And I'm a lifelong metaphysician who's worked with magical people my whole life. So with that being said, I want to expand, because we might not be talking a lot about that, but look into her for that kind of work too. We did a process before we came on to ground us and things like that. It was a business one. It just literally was incredible. And for me to say that this process, Angela and I've been close buddies for like 8 years. So for me to say that this one knocked my socks off has to be really amazing. So she's getting more and more like the mighty, Mickey Mouse and Fantasia, like the mighty, sorceress. She's very magical. So know that she does do business. Would you like to just talk briefly about that? Because we have, a lot of business people watching as well.
Well, I just love the energy of business, and it seems to me that businesses kind of communicate to me. So I understand what people's businesses need. So the same way that I can dive in and speak to your spirit or to the spirit of a client, it's really easy for me to speak to the spirit of a business and to know exactly what it needs. And all businesses want to grow and flourish, and ultimately it's our own limitations and our own blocks that need to be looked at and kind of tweaked and worked on, that will allow our businesses to flourish. And that's what I help people in business do. I help them understand the mindset that they need to be in to do their business, and I help them to sort of detach from their business and allow their business to grow without their limitations. That would be probably one of the biggest things that I do.
Mm-hmm. Very powerful. It is very powerful. And love, if you have love in your life, this is one thing that I want you to talk about too. If you have love in your life, it flows out, or you should be able to allow it to flow out into every aspect of your relationships, your business, your connections with the grocery store clerk. It becomes universal, it becomes planetary, it becomes cultural, it becomes society, it becomes us. You're on.
Yeah, well, I totally.
You're like, you didn't ask me a question.
No, well, I absolutely agree. When you're capable of loving, when you master that energy of loving, your environment responds to you different. You know, it's almost like you're in this magical, beautiful world. And I'm not saying it's like that 100% of the time, because we're all here, we're all in training, we're all here to expand the universe. But the more you master love, the more it's reflected in your outside world, so that you rendezvous with miracles and magic and beauty more, and that love is reflected back to you.
Thank you. That's really beautiful. I love how you said beauty, because recently I've been writing a lot about beauty and love, because when we express love, that is more or less our fountain of youth, because people see us as brighter and we appear younger. And there's just such a gloriousness about us. And I keep saying to women, if your thing is beauty, study love, because you'll even become more beautiful. Yeah. So will you talk a little bit about that? It's kind of a, it's not sensational, but it's incredible for people to understand how we become lighter. I think it's also because our muscles in our face aren't all tense and stressed out. Do you have any magical words on that? Because beauty is so important. It's part, it's totally part of the whole concept of love. When we love ourselves deeply, I'm not saying we're saying, oh, we're so beautiful, but people will say, oh, you have this light, or you're beautiful, or you're this, or you're that, right? And it's just about that divine light pouring out from inside. And so even if it was just about, you know, finding that love so you feel better in yourself, you can know that the side effect is beauty.
Oh yeah, well that I absolutely agree with. I think you probably phrased it a lot better than I did. Let's remember that you're the love coach here. I'm just the magical master of energy. Yeah, I think for me, when you were talking about that, what came to mind is that when you honestly and truthfully love yourself, what happens is you change what I call energetic scripts that you give out to other people. And with everything that you said, because it's absolutely true, I'm astounded, because we're both kind of sort of a similar age, and neither of us look anything like the age that we are. Mm-hmm. But when you love yourself, your energetic scripts change drastically and dynamically, and people can see your light and your beauty, and you just are more attractive. You're more attractive energetically, and you're more attractive aesthetically.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much.
But
so.
when you have those barriers, and when you have fear or mistrust, then your energetic scripts are not going to be as light and as loving. So the people aren't going to respond and react to you the same way as they would if you were coming from a place of love and trust. And I think trust is so huge with love. It's really sort of combined in it with it. And I just don't think that it's a coincidence that that a lot of times the heart chakra is sort of a combination of love and trust. It's not just about love. It's about the ability to trust. And it's not as much about, you know, going out and blindly trusting everyone, but it's about trusting yourself. It's about having faith in yourself and trusting that you are good enough, that you are lovable. And just so you know, I love you. I love you.
And she's
I
talking,
love you.
she's talking to me, but she's also talking to you guys, the audience.
I am talking to you guys.
And to you guys. Yes. And that's what's really nice, is when you can meet people who actually aren't afraid to love and to express love. You know, it's a pain point for so many, right? Sometimes people think, is she for real? You know, is she for real? Of course people are for real, because they really want to change who they were, their story, their script, as Angela said. And so they work it and they work it and it becomes them. It's a practice, right? Like you practice the native, you know, the native energy, you know, that you went and sought. You practice that for over 10 years before you got your wings. Practice makes proficiency, you know, just like any football player, basketball player, ballerina, musician. It's us practicing what we know and what makes us grow and what makes us feel alive and beautiful. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So I know that we're going to talk more about your free gift, because that's going to bring up some questions. There's work that you've been doing recently. You've brought in Ho'oponopono and things like that into your work, which is very powerful. So share with us your free gift.
All right. So my free gift is a manifestation mastery PDF, and it takes you through the 9 steps that I take each of my clients through. And these 9 steps are to support you with your mindset and to get you more into an alpha brainwave state instead of a beta brainwave state. So beta is where you have the self-criticism, you have the self-doubt, you have the fear. It's very much survival mode. It can be stress. It could be the negative inner voices, whereas alpha is your first rung on the meditation level. So alpha and meditation does not mean that you have to sit up on a mountain and drink your own wee. That's not what it's about. It's the Native Americans practice an active form of meditation. So the idea is that you get into an alpha brainwave state and you absolutely stay there 100% of the time. That's the target. Alpha is where you can have faith, positivity, you can feel love, you can feel loved. We fluctuate between alpha and beta brain states naturally. We go in and out of them all the time. This manifestation mastery takes you through the 9 steps of going through what over the decades my clients have experienced that needed support and help to keep them in alpha, to help them train to stay in alpha as much as possible. And the more you can stay in alpha or an optimal flow state, the more you can experience love, not only for other people, but especially for yourself. So for me, it's absolutely essential. There's also, you'll be joined to my emailing list and you'll get 9 emails that will support you with that manifestation mastery. And you can always contact me by replying to the emails.
I love that. And it's it's so interesting because as we grow over the years, our conversation becomes different because we're more elevated. I remember this is why I took one of the deep, I was always on a deep journey, but it's what helped toss me into even a deeper journey was when Angela said to me, I love you. And it's not funny as in haha or bad. It's I'm thinking back on where we were, where I was, at that point in time. And she said, you want to remain in alpha because beta is the land, the Indians call it the land of the living dead. And I was like, I don't want to be in the land of the living dead. So that's why I used to work my tushy off to stay in alpha all the time because I didn't want to be in that lower vibration. And so I'm giggling here because, we've known each other a long time. Like I said before, everybody, she used to be on my walks with me on the phone, and we'd talk and we'd manifest and we'd create, we'd have so much fun. And so I love and cherish those experiences. So also, before we leave, I want you to share a little bit of you've shared a lot, but what's on your heart and mind that maybe you didn't get a chance to share with the audience.
Wow. Mindset is just incredibly important. If you can train yourself to get into alpha more, you'll find that you'll be at the right place at the right time. Things will take less time to do. Your awareness will be expanded. And as I said, your capacity and ability to love yourself and to feel love is going to grow exponentially. But what I really want you to know is that you are loved. So I'm going to say this, and it is to Mia, but it's to you who is watching this. I love you. I love you. I love you. And just remember, you are loved.
It's beautiful. You are loved, everyone. And that's one thing that we don't feel. We don't feel seen, heard, or loved. And those are all human errors, human things that were placed upon us. That's why when we go over our mindset and we recalibrate who we truly are and what we want to believe, we can literally change all of that into the sense of love because we're not allowing our old programming in and we're putting in new patterns. So our subconscious actually works with us, with the conscious state, and it will begin to bubble up positive in those moments. It takes practice, but in those moments of despair, the subconscious will come up to protect you, to encourage you. I used to think it was this ironclad thing that everybody talks about, the fear of the subconscious. It's only there to support us. Divine love has put it there to support us. So know that when you lay in these patterns of love, you are supporting yourself in stepping into that space. So thank you, Angela, so much for being with us. I love you. I'm really proud of you. And I cherish our sisterhood so much. And I'm grateful that you were able to take the time for the audience to share who you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us for this lovely episode with Angela. And we'll see you in another one.